everybody, welcome to a new episode of Tidalwave Afterwork, our music production podcast. But where are we here? What are we doing here? Why does it look different?
It's a special.
It's a special.
As you can tell, because today we won't be alone, just the two of us.
No.
We have some special guests today.
From tomorrow we are going to start recording vocals with Dutch metal band Carach Angren, and this evening we are going to meet and say hello and have a little chat, and we thought, why not share it with you guys? So,
Enjoy!
When you're in the studio, like recording your stuff in the beginning, it's like, okay, red button syndrome. You're completely scared, and you don't. You always think that somebody is recording you, and that after a while you just.
It makes me think about something like in Cubase. They have added now a feature since a couple of years that it's always recording, at least the MIDI
Never
track.
not record.
Yeah, so. Because that's exactly what sometimes happens. Like, okay, I figured out a part, and now I'm going to record, and then you fuck it up, or you forget something. But it has always on, so you can do like, you can go back like sometimes.
Does it like a half-hour loop or something?
Something like that, yeah.
That's really clever. Well, I usually always record I say like, okay, let me do a sound check, but I record it always, never not record, because sometimes it's like in the first take something magic happens.
Exactly.
Because they are not thinking about it, they are just feeling the song. And then you are glad that you had it.
Yeah.
It's like the first thought. It's mostly you know, like you have to do a test and answer quickly. Don't think too long.
Yeah.
If you think too long, it's incorrect first answer.
Go by intuition and not
But is that wise for me? First thought, first answer.
well, you can
It's always dark.
With the lyrics, like we were still
but
discussing it.
I think you're right though in a way. Even when you say something, because the first thing you say is normally like very truthful. It has a lot of weight. Even though later on you might think like, oh, that was shit. I shouldn't have said. But still, it's like real.
It's the truth. Yeah.
First
not
thing
scripted.
pops up in your head. Do you still love me?
Do you want an honest answer, or do you want like a husband answer?
Fuck no!
Let me go back in Cubase. For example, I'm improvising or playing something, and then I forget. But then you can go back and you say, and it just prints out what you have been playing, and then you cut your part.
It's like time machine.
Yeah, like that. But it's a super easy feature, and I've been using it all the time now. Like I almost never do record and play.
Are you not scared that you will lose, like, you rely so much on the technology, then...
I have AI now. I'm done anyway, you know.
Okay, so this is the big news. So new songs, everything is written with AI.
Yeah.
It's like Carach GPT.
The problem now is like that you don't know anymore what is AI and not, especially in music. I have like an account on this website where you can have people review your music and you review others. It's a way also to discover music, pretty cool. And then now I get like, this is AI. Yeah, I can hear it. You made AI. Like, so people think that something I made is AI.
That your music is AI. It's always nice when people know more about your creations that yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's like funny how that works. And so it's almost like, are you AI? And people start to be like...
you're like second guessing everything, basically.
Yeah.
Skynet.
Because you don't know it. And there are people that are like putting out albums like every day, like 8 albums on Spotify to get their royalties. And so there's a lot of that stuff going on.
But okay, the royalty thing is maybe a thing, but you as an artist cannot be really scared of AI, because it will not replace your personality or your wish to express something.
No. I had that idea also. It doesn't matter how good it is, as long as there's a real person, they keep asking for it. Who made this? Is this real or not? And if you can say like this is made by a real person, I think that this will always survive.
Especially when it's time to perform it live or something, then
of course
you have like the relationship that fans or listeners have to the creators is what makes it worthwhile somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it doesn't interfere with one another. You know, like if it can just live side by side each other, then it's not a problem. Because if AI or somebody who uses AI creates music that is like generic AF, and people want to listen to that's not going to bother like you guys or like people who
may
want to
drown the market. Maybe if you have like a pot of royalties and stuff, and it's getting distributed.
This is the challenge now. Yeah. And there are a lot of people that are in production music, like they are anonymous and they made a lot of money, or that was their living, and now you have that cake is being swallowed by other competitors.
Do you feel stuff like this because you are creating like?
You can see it happening. Yeah. And companies also ingested a lot of existing music from various websites. And
do you create like? Is stock music the right word to say? But are you also approached like to make like on demand? Because this is something that I don't know. AI is just stupid.
No, that's true. That will continue, and a lot of guys are switching now to on demand again or more.
That's probably the thing. It's also again this personal relationship. It's like people say AI thing that is mixing amazingly, and I say no, it's not. It cannot, because if I know what is all done inside the music. Just imagine, like you have like play this guitar again, but give me a little bit more. Like good luck trying to type this into like a chat.
And you still have to understand music to ask those questions. So that will like.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So but I think when it started back in the day, when you had to go in the studio, you had to do everything loose, you know. So it was way more difficult. And years later. Cubase came and everyone who had a computer or PC could be a studio or record. So I can imagine there were a lot of people like, whoa, this is now all these musicians don't have to do a fucking thing anymore. But it's not true. It's I mean, I always had my opinion about DJs, you know. But now later on, I must say this. I understand how they make music, but I would never like to do it that way, you know. I'm theatrical more like that, but a DJ is like has not many movements. But the way how they make music, I understand it a bit better now.
I guess there's the difference between the show, so everything is pre-recorded and pre-produced, and then people want to see the face to it, but at some point somebody has to create it somehow.
Yeah. Maybe can be a little bit comparable with the fear of AI, you know, that people say, "Oh shit, what's going to happen?"
Yeah, you have to adapt or not.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we will always keep doing what we're doing, probably, regardless.
Regardless of whatever is happening. If you just have the need, the intrinsic feeling of like, I want to create something, then this is not in like dependence of your surroundings.
Exactly.
It just exists for its own like sake.
And sometimes songs we work on that takes years, or like you put it away for a month and you come back to it, and that's the fun, and that's also the artistry instead of make pop songs.
If we decide to make a new concept about something, you know, that particular concept AI doesn't know yet.
Yeah.
You know, because it knows about Lamadam, it knows about all our albums, you know, and it would make a lyric about all that it knows already, but it cannot know
Variation, probably.
Yeah. But okay, I the easy things I noticed it on myself. I used to write lyrics, and I had a list of evil words. I used to call them, you know, like a despair, a blackness, whatever. And I had a whole list. But now these days, go on Google, type dark and synonym, and then you get a whole list. Man, it's so internet got so much easier.
But you are choosing which one you're choosing, adapting to the context and stuff.
That's a bit what AI does in his way, but with the databases, you know. But we are not that powerful. That's the only difference, you know.
You're not as quick.
Yeah.
But there was something that you said before, like people say that this sounds like this. You did this with AI. or something.
It happens to me. When they were saying like, those violins there, I can hear that this is probably done with AI, which was not. It was like, it was created. It was like from the ground up, and then, but it was just fascinating me. I mean, this is just feedback, and people can think. But I saw it more and more. So I think if AI is doing anything, it's like disrupting. That people are like, is this authentic or not? This is a challenge, like, and then. So I think as creators or musicians, you need to prove more and more, like, hey, I'm actually playing, or like I'm.
Video, it didn't happen.
Something like that. Yeah, but it's like,
what's the purpose of like expressing yourself artistically, and what's the purpose of music by itself? Because this is like a differentiation that a lot of people don't think about, I guess, especially like the consumer. For example, you write a piece of music, and it's just what you feel, what you want to express, whatever. You do that, then the purpose is already done in a way.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
And so when people start like taking ownership of that in that way of being like, hey, but I guess the violin part here is, it's like, what does that even mean? Like, it's like, it's in a way, it's they point something out which is at the end of the day pointless, I think. But I don't know how you feel about it. It's
No, it's true, but it would be sad if people disconnect maybe from possible great artists.
Yeah.
That they think, this is AI, I'm not going to even bother or something like. And which is not.
Do you think you are safer from this because you already, I don't know, how long does Carach exist? 20 years almost, basically.
20 years.
If you take the complete history, so people know what you can do.
Luckily, I think that's an advantage. Like if you start now, it's maybe more difficult in that regard. Like, but when we started, it was some other things were difficult. The industry was going down because of downloads and
internet came up. MySpace,
and there's always challenges. Like
I remember we were on this TK internet site, and all you had was a guestbook. And that was where all
guestbook, that was fun. But even back then, there was a lot of fake, because I remember a band I recorded, and they were faking their own guestbook entries, like, "Oh yeah, you are so great." It was really funny, but it was always like a fishy email address, like blah 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 @gmx.de, blah 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 @gmx.de. So it was like, okay, and then the same typing errors. It was so obvious.
I remember once
guestbook wars.
Remember this Havok or something?
Go to other bands and then like fuck you.
There was some like threatening us, like fuck you, post. And so we immediately okay, let's meet on this fucking parking lot. And then
did you?
Yeah, we asked, and then they didn't react anymore.
I was keyboard warrior.
Yeah, that's the first one. But what you were saying before is true. Like we have always been making music, and even 20 years ago, when there was no one listening, like in our caravan where we started, and we were still having fun, and it's basically the same. I mean, of course, it's very cool that you have the possibility to do shows and reach people, but the essence is the same. Like I think we would still do it if the audience disappeared somehow. Not to be ungrateful, but
I especially also it's not just the music with the theatrical part. It's like Halloween or Carnival. The one time of the year you can get dressed as some fucking monster. We can do that all day, and it's always a magical idea to step in that character. It's more of it's easier to switch if you can do it visually, Yeah.
But also with lyrics, like with ChatGPT, sometimes we try it for fun, like write lyrics in this style, a little bit like ours. And it is pretty cool stuff that's coming out. Like it's 2 seconds and it's like a pretty cool text. But then again, there is no connection to the whole process, and
it's like food from the can.
Somehow
and it's just like recooking stuff that has been there, and it's nothing new, nothing original.
I wonder sometimes, look in the future, like where is the line for myself? Because I don't know, to be honest.
True.
You know what I mean? Like
you still need the skill to judge things also.
Yeah, it's like an imposter syndrome almost. Like This is the same with all the technology we have, like with the orchestral sounds, like the MIDI.
Or take like Melodyne or something like that, Is it like it's the same discussion when we had like it's tuned, and you will have like the people is like you can't do that, and we'll have the people will be like I can't sing, but I love to create, so I sing and tune it.
Yeah.
And now I can express what otherwise I couldn't express because I have a bad intonation. So is that bad? Is that like you know what I mean? So that's why
it gives a lot of people
something.
access.
Exactly. So
we have to see also how people react to it. Maybe it's in a couple of years people are like I think just toss it to the side more.
It will come as Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator, Skynet.
if you could travel to the future and you will be able to listen to Carach Angren music from 2035, would you do that?
Do I have to go back?
Yes, you would.
No, I think it's the same as if do you want to know the date of your death? You know, I don't want to. I don't want to live to that shit.
Here we go, deeper.
I would have thought that the way you guys talk about like creating is very much the train of thought that the journey is the goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the creating part is already the happy place, and it's not necessarily.
Else you get very unhappy because, for example, now on these songs we've been sitting for some years because of things that happened and like, but yeah, soon it's gonna be out and that's great. But then afterwards, like release days can be very also boring because it comes out and it is on Spotify and that's it. Like, I mean, there is always a party and but you have to have fun now, like doing it and being excited about it. And if not, then your life is very boring and unhappy.
That's a good point. People who let create or create very quickly, they are robbing themselves from a great experience somewhat.
Yeah. For example, some of the stuff that we did now, like I send it to him and then I'm like, it's like Christmas, like 2 weeks later he's gonna make guitars on it. And I can't wait what he does. And then you hear, oh wow, and then we're like talking like, I can't wait to put this out. So it's like this Christmas feeling, like very unholy Christmas. But like, and that's the most fun part, I think.
And when it's out, are you still listening to your own stuff then? Are you celebrating it, or is it like, okay, and then you move on to the next party? Are you still...
Yeah.
When it's just out, then especially we enjoy the new sound of it. We have our pre-production and you get used to that. But then comes the studio sound, and that's always, for example, if I get used to a certain song, I'm like, okay, this is a pretty good one, you know, and then it comes in studio form, and boy, it's now I really feel it, you know.
So you're basically rediscovering it a little bit.
Yeah. A new jacket,
that's
a new
cool.
feeling.
Yeah. I have that feeling multiple times sometimes because, for example, last album, like a song like Frankenstein, like there's a demo version you get attached to. Then comes the studio version is like a whole new discovery. Then comes the artwork because there was like someone making artwork based on input, and then you get an image and this is the album. It's going to look like this, and then there's a video clip that's completely different again. So the song is like constantly
the
evolving
different stages of evolution. Yeah. I can feel this even with recording a thing. So you get the first tracks, and then most of the time in the beginning, although I may like the thing, I'm not attached to it. It's like I hear it and it's like, that's good quality, it's nice, but it's not my baby yet. And then it's like, and then it starts building. You record this, you record that, and then come the vocals, and then comes like, and then you build excitement and you get attached more and more to it.
Can I ask you this? What do you think makes for that perfect, like, symbiotic, creative relationship?
I think like I always like to make like the base of a song. I like to write songs and like compose and stuff. And if I would be in a band with like 5 people deciding that, so it would be very difficult for me. Like some bands, they function really good like that. But like when he comes in, he's like, he allows me to do that. And then he comes in like with his guitar, and he doesn't play the guitar very conventionally. He has very melodic stuff. He goes all over the place.
I would say play like a piano.
And he has a very, very good ear for sad parts and for like the depressive parts. So sometimes I have orchestral sound, and he can put in some kind, like one tone that changes it, and like
melancholy.
So melancholy, that's his thing. So then it comes back, and it's like it works. I don't know why it works exactly, but we're doing that for 20 years.
He has this way of sometimes I say happy is the wrong name for that part, but he tends to write some parts more like adventurous, and because my parts are more, if I can, I do depressing or melancholic, and it doesn't work without his parts. It's like day and night, And sometimes when his parts come up, like it can breathe again, and then comes this suffocating darkness again. And I think we have, that's the formula between us. You can put 20, 30 people on it, but I think without this little thing, it's important. It's for example, maybe like if you take Cradle of Filth, Danny Phil, the singer, he never played guitar. I think maybe he does play a little guitar, but he was always dependent on guitarists who have their style, and for us somehow we always had that style in our minds already. I mean, if they chop off our arms and all that, then we still got style in the formula.
Is there a lot of discussion out of 10 cases? Like how often do we disagree about something, about like a creative decision?
Not really a lot. Like you come sometimes in and then on this songs, like he told me like, I did a lot of things, so I think you're gonna chop some things up, but I trust you. Like, that's what he told me. That.
I have to laugh about that. I come in het graf song.
That's another story you have to talk about. But, there was like one song. He wrote lyrics, like an upcoming song. He wrote lyrics, and he already told me like, you're probably gonna disapprove this. It's too over the top. It's too sick, basically.
I'm still not convinced that.
So I listened to it, and it's like, it was really, it was really, really heavy, and like I cannot show it to our mom. But I called him there. It's like, why not? He's like, are you sure? Like, he was like shocked, and it's like, let's leave it. And then now, like 2 weeks ago, we were almost approaching session. It's like, he told me like,
okay, we're one heart attack further. So again, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
But
and then I saw the dope. It's like I sent it to our management. Like, what do you think? Like, he was like, why not? I said, okay, let's do it.
We know pop band or whatever country is metal. It is horror metal. It's Black Death. So,
but
it would suit us well to be fucking shocking.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's like the Fairy Tale album. It was also pretty not so funny, so to say. And,
art is not there to please people. It's there to do what it has to do. So and
it's within the context, like
it's okay.
And we're proud of it now. But back with the Hansel and Gretel album, was we had the same questions like, oh shit, it's about a girl being abused and stuff, and without that part, the whole story wouldn't work. If we would kill her in the lyrics, it just wouldn't be as effective, So we did it, and later there were literally people coming to us like, and they told us what happened to them, and it was almost a bit similar, like, but they told us this album really helped me, and that was a big thank you for us. I mean, it's like 3-4 times that serious people with.
And also people come in disapproving, or there's problems happen.
I remember this girl. I had this Jane Doe doll on stage, and I was cutting her throat, and I was sucking the blood out of it. It was all fake and stuff. And then all of a sudden, this girl she was from an organization, and
like Amnesty or something, and she was very angry. And she came like, I want to have a discussion with you, to me, and like, I've been the biggest fan for I don't know how long, and. Do you realize what you're doing there? And do you understand that this could be a bad example? And said, but this is a show, and this is a doll, and this is a context. You come in, you pay a ticket, you don't have to come in. And so, and I didn't really want to go into that discussion because that would be admitting like, there we are setting an example. Sure. To me, it's like, we are not political or anything at all. This is just art, and it goes crazy sometimes.
If we have to be.
But we are just following that, and sometimes it goes. But that's what he does. Like sometimes he write lyrics. Like I write lyrics very descriptive and pretty safe and like atmospheric. And then now he came in with a song, and he had some new parts. And my first reactions are like, well, but how is the story going? And then in the end, I love it, and we just delete some of the stuff that I did, and we put that in, and then it's like this palette, and like
yeah.
It's a thing of trusting the other, and you don't have ego fights because this can be a real killer. But I wrote this song, and I really, really want it to be in there. So if you are able to let loose for a better idea, then that's the formula for symbiotic work.
He trusts me like how the song works and like how it flows and stuff. And like I trust him to come up with like the genius things here and there. Like exactly.
Without him, it would sound way too dosed. He makes it dosed, you know. I have so many ideas about it. The first time that I came into this studio with the Laminam, I remember how many fucking ideas I had on guitars. It was horrible, actually. But half of it I could let go. It was a little thing there, a little thing there. You know, sometimes it's just better just play the whole thing. You know, I remember like Corpse in the Nebulous Creek. That was pretty.
Yeah, but to throw the ideas in, even if they are all over the place, and even if it's too much, it's better to like put more on the table and try it out. But it's really cool. I for myself, if I'm producing an album, I'm always so thankful if artists are able to let loose of something. If they see like, okay, I tried it, we tried it, it didn't work out, so let's kick it, and it's still cool. That's really great. And I can't remember, we've worked on so much stuff together, I can't remember anything where you were like really...
No,
I remember Phil, because I got used to our pre-production, you know, and there was a certain drum fill coming up, and all of a sudden I discovered, like we were half a song further, and I discovered like Ivo didn't do that, the drum fill.
You fell in love with the fill, and you wanted it.
And I discovered, and I felt it really was shitty, you know, for me, but I had to learn that first process, you know. Later, I knew like, okay,
but it becomes easier over time. Because now I sometimes have like a first reaction, like, oh, there's a change, and I know now like it's always going to be uncomfortable, and then you sleep over it and you listen. Oh, that's great. But in the beginning, you're like more like when I was 20 or something. Like it's like more ego and like I want my part to be like.
Ego and probably also this like Demoitis kind of thing that I always tell, like when I'm producing something and there's a change, then I always tell the client like, hey, you gotta remember that you listen to the demo 100 times and this new version 1 time. Listen to the new version at least 50 times so that it's like a fair comparison.
What do they say to you then? Do they listen to you? Or?
Some do, some don't. But I try to be very strict with it because I always try to push the people to the best version. The more uncompromised the art is, the more powerful it is in the good ways. When there's 3 people coming who like where they say the song really helped me through, or it was like very
crazy.
important for me. Like 3 people of that kind are probably more important than like 50 people are like, oh, this sucks. If you have like
serious,
one person that's like, this saved my life. Then this probably only will happen if it's very uncompromised.
I remember I was on a tour, a guy came was in the US, he said like, I lost my home in a storm. Everything, I lost everything, but your album, I just listened it on repeat for the last weeks and made me feel a bit better. It's like, you feel humble. I'm like, what can you add to that? Like, you know,
I wanted to Spanish.
I cannot imagine.
Spanish policemen, they told me they listen to your shit when we were patrolling during the day. And then there was one guy, I don't know which one.
Fine.
One guy was sitting in a tank, driving somewhere, and man, that was
love your music.
Holy shit.
Was it the double bass or was it the gun?
Violinist, I think.
Yeah, it's amazing. Huh? I mean, and it humbles you because it will never be like, like the example I said before, I just went quiet. What can you say? Like the guy lost his home and it's horrible. And like if he found some comfort in that, I mean, that's awesome. But it will never be like, oh yeah, we did that, or like, oh, you're so great. No, like,
I mean, you get used to it in a way. When you have a show every day and a lot of fans come and tell you, wow, you're the shit, and all of a sudden comes this skilled creative artist guy who makes your fan art and stuff. And we know for example Rich, this guy, he's great art, and if you see yourself or your own albums or your own stories drawn, you know, then it starts to live its own life. Then
is that the one who made the violinist video?
No, that was the guy from New York.
But that was also, I think, that was also like a fan
inspired,
who said, "Hey, this I really want to do this," and it turned out to be like a fantastic video clip.
Exactly.
We would never claim a video clip of someone else, but that was so good. We were. He was happy with it, and we were proud with it too.
But it's like it goes around. Like, I mean, sounds a bit cliche, but we watch a movie, we get excited, and we write some music, and then someone else listens to our music, and then they write something. Or I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
and that's the thing with art, and like it was for forever in a way. Like I was telling him the other day about legacy.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I was saying like a lot of music that I listen to is from people that don't live anymore.
Yeah.
But then we saw a video of Mike Tyson saying, "Who cares about legacy?
Legacy doesn't
when I'm
mean
dead, I'm
fucking
dead."
thing. When you're dead,
my whole
you're dead.
idea was going.
I guess he knew he was going to lose.
Did you watch the fight?
Yeah.
I lost 50 euro.
He bet on it.
Mike, I lost 50 euro.
Mike, if you're watching this.
If you're watching this. I'm not challenging you. No. It's okay.
Just a friendly reminder. You owe me money.
He lost 50 euro because of him, yeah.
No, but we were thought, okay, this fucker, if he's going to lose, he's going to tear off ears, you know. But then again, on the other hand, man, you're going to stand there if you're almost 60 years old. It's many people don't know how I know from Taekwondo how intensively.
You made Taekwondo.
Yeah, if you're in a game, like sometimes if you were like senior, you had to fight like 3 times 2 minutes. That's fucking exhausting. If you and the Taekwondo is a lot jumping around and explosive, you know, and these explosive things that takes energy. And you saw these 2 guys, they were heavyweights, and they were pretty fast, I must say. For a guy like Mike Tyson, he had the whole speed, and it must be, you saw it at the last. They were like...
I have a question. If you think about interviews and doing interviews, first of all, do you actually like doing interviews?
Yeah, I mean, it's always... It's important to do them, because you try to promote an album.
Sure.
And, I mean... I don't like when people are rude in interviews or things like that, because someone's paying attention to you and helping you to spread out the word, and it's important. So yeah, I like to do them, but I like the ones better when there's like a little bit deeper questions, or like it's like, tell me about your band, like this, like which also has a place sometimes, but
yeah, sure,
yeah.
But this brings me to the actual question, which is, considering that in an interview you talk about your band, your music. Hopefully, most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, what is the stuff that doesn't get asked enough or never gets asked? Because there's maybe something you would like to talk about, or you think there is something important in your band, in your music, in your artistry, in the world, whatever. I would imagine you don't go into an interview and then be like, I want to talk about this.
So
So
is there questions that you never get asked, or something
so is there
that
like
you would
something
wish that you would get asked?
Yeah,
like the
something,
most... shameful
that you do
ever.
that maybe just people overlook, you know, stuff that you do or think about, or that is important to you.
Like
well, maybe like some stuff we talked about now, that because this is such a different setting, it comes out like we talk about like how we actually work, and what it means to us, and like where the highlight is for us, maybe like 2 years before release, or like, you know, things like that. The whole process behind it, that doesn't really come out with a question answer setting, I think. So here we are more like going into certain topics, and
we just let it flow, and you naturally come up with what you want to talk about. And which year did you actually start with the band? It's like, okay,
what does the band name mean? And
1666.
Yeah. But all those things have a place, but sometimes they're not so exciting, of course, after like 20 times.
I think there's also the quest for each interviewer. What is the question to ask to a musician? Like,
it's
sometimes it's
tricky.
easy. Sometimes it's complex shit that you whoa.
I know of one artist I work with whose name shall not be named, but who is basically
Voldemort.
He's basically rewriting interview questions, because or actually basically saying, okay, scrap that interview, I write questions, because your questions they just suck. They don't. They have been asked like 1 million times. Let me show you questions that I want to be asked.
I sometimes do it too. Like I delete a question. Like,
okay,
do you also
replace maybe?
Yeah, or sometimes I just give a completely different answer. Like I write it in the way that I want it to be. And the good interviews, they tell you this, like, hey, if you feel not answering something, don't do it, or if you want to add something, and yeah. So there are good and bad ones, as in everything. Like,
especially with the written ones, we sometimes if we like it or if we get into the flow, there's a question, and then blah 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 blah. There comes this part that it's enthusiasm, so it goes by itself. But it depends how many interviews you have to do, and sometimes it just goes by itself. It's just I remember that he sometimes used to call me like, whoa man, I went totally losing this one. I got like fucking 6 pages. I love to talk. It just goes by itself,
But sometimes I guess you have like, especially when there's a new release, there's like 50 billion interviews. I was wondering, is it sometimes a bit like running a company to have a successful band with a lot of stuff? How much is like the tedious work that has to be done?
A lot. I mean, I always tell people think like when you're on tour, they have this image and like it's superstar. And
what
like,
my mom thinks I do, what my girlfriend thinks I do, but what I actually do.
Yeah, and then you're in the bus and the bus is stuck in snow, and I'm like, with the Excel sheet, are we going to make it this tour? Like, but this is the reality of and I also don't like bands that want to put that out all the time. Like, we are so sad. I see that too. Like. That's like with social media, like we're also not like that. And but you have to connect it. Like we are, I mean, like their last release, like we're very excited. So you carry that over, and even carrying your guitar or drum case or keyboard, like you have to. I think like in every job there is a lot of mundane things, and like if you're not excited, let's say you just make a release and you're not inspired and you don't care, and then you're not gonna make it, because when the real stuff comes. The hard stuff, and I mean, you're stuck on a road, or a gig gets cancelled, or there's money stuff, or then you're gonna feel really bad. So
it's like a test.
Yeah,
I mean, everyone loves it. Oh, I want to play in the band too, and but I've seen guys coming with us on that first tour, especially in the camper. Oh, that was tough, and there was guys like sleeping above the front thing where you drive. You had this cabin above. And there was guys sleeping. I remember, like, I think it was Stockholm, Sweden, somewhere. I only saw fucking pine trees and snow. And I was going, like, I don't know, 70, maybe 80 miles an hour. And there came this fucking bunny, like, bloop, 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 and shit, I got a bus full of people. I'm not going to fucking brake like an idiot and kill us, So the guy beside me, he was like, oh, watch the bunny. And I was like, over the bunny. And he was like, you motherfucker. We had a discussion about that right there.
It's the reality of tour life.
Yeah, it was you or the fucking rabbit.
Was that the camper where somebody whose name shall not be named poured gas into the water tank?
No diesel.
Oh, great.
It was like...
Oh, man.
I remember, what was this, like pumping gas for like half an hour? It's like, when is that tank going to be full? It was the water tank.
Yeah, and then we went driving again, and the thing wouldn't come up. It's like,
give me $40 and hey, go tank diesel, and I'll stick it in, and I'm sitting there, and I was already wondering before he said, why is that thing still down, and you didn't tank in the water thing.
There is water tank.
And now comes the best part. I go to this guy there and I say, "Hey, Mister, this and that happened." Normally it happens to the women, but you can drop it. So, in Holland, if we would dump that in Holland, I don't think we will get any.
Just dump it, he said, on the gas station
in a pit. Like, it's okay. Well,
how was it then? Then you didn't have clean water for the rest of the trip.
Yeah, we didn't really use that thing anyway, but it had to be replaced. So
they told me like, hey, we called company and shit, and it's like these phosphors of how you call this stuff, these benzene. They go sit in the material, so you have to clean it within 2 days or something. Of course, we couldn't find no fucking camping store and. I think it cost a few hundred euros to replace.
They took the, how do you say it, Borg. You put like an amount. When they kept that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was now it's a fun story.
Yeah. But if you see what a lot shit suffers, you know, like I remember this door where we discussed it. Like there were pots in it, like these holes, and everyone was like, "How the fuck did that get in there?" You don't know.
Didn't know,
It's like the like in Breaking Bad, the camper with the holes in the door. But there
we had the same. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Where did they come from?
We didn't know. Like they were like.
I know where the diesel came from.
But those are like the experiences you make where you like really question yourself. Do I love this and really want to do this or not?
And the reward is. I mean, if you're on tour, the show is always a reward that can carry you for weeks. And there are really nice people out there, like fans of us, who bring things to the bus and like cookies and food. And there are people that understand that this is not just like all the rock star stuff, and that it's actually a lot of work.
You have played in a lot of countries. Are there a lot of difference between behavior of audience from country to country?
I mean, for us, US has always been very good because it's I don't know, it somehow clicks and people are very expressive there. But
South Americans, crazy,
yeah. But I also remember, for example, I think it was in Munich, we played a show and I remember people were like this. We thought like, oh, it's not so great. And then people bought a lot of merch. And
Munich?
It was great. Yeah.
It's always like that. Though.
Yeah.
Every time I played there, it's like this.
Is that backstage?
Like in Switzerland.
Or is that seven?
Like this, and then at the end you come, oh, it was great. It's
was amazing.
Okay, I didn't feel it, but
good
to know that it was okay.
And vice versa, people go crazy and then you don't sell the merch. That happens too, and so there is difference, but
that's worse. I played in Munich one time, and I think we almost had like no applause in the pauses of the songs, like almost nothing. But then at the end of the show, they already went for like an encore, which is really weird.
We had a tour. Our first show, and was supposed to be Florida, Tampa, and but there was one show cancelled, you know. So and I was fucking Tampa in my head, you know, or it was something else, and I thought it was Tampa. The whole show, I was like, "Hey, good evening, Tampa." No one said a fucking thing. No one. They just looked like idiots.
They were polite.
He doesn't even know where he is.
Shit! And all of a sudden, a merch girl came like like the second round, with the correct city on it. I was like, "Fuck!" Last song, you know.
But that's
so funny.
That happens. It's like basically, I think one thing people also don't realize is like they think you are traveling around the world and you get to see everything, but you get to see more backstage rooms that just look exactly the same everywhere. The tour bus is always the same. An airport is an airport, so you don't necessarily get to see a lot. And then so if you travel like 25 cities and then you lost track of where you actually are, you cannot really be mad at someone.
Exactly.
For those people that maybe they work and they have a show on Saturday, and for them that's the party. And they sometimes people, why don't you drink? Why don't you? But for us, the party is every day, and you have to find a way in that. And sometimes that's hard. Like I like to go during the day to do something else, like maybe go to a museum or just to go to a shop, or instead of at the backstage, like But those are things you have to find a way in. But I think
isn't that the same thing with every job? I can so much feel this because I have this all the time at the studio. It's like the band's coming in and it's like for them it's like we're recording an album every 2 years.
Exactly.
They are excited. It's like I really really love to do this, but guys, it's 5. It's 5 p.m.
That's my job.
If I would continue to do this every day like I did in the beginning, like 16 hours every day, then you're just fed up by something that you really enjoy. You really have to like have your working hours, and then that's it. And we can only hope that people accept that it's not a lack of fun or lack of anything, but it's just like if you do it every day, you just have to keep the energy fresh. By just switching off at some point.
Is that hard sometimes for you to give the energy like another recording, or is it
not? Since I try to stick to not more than 8 hours a day. When you switch off at the right time, then you come back next day and you are you are still excited. So
your life consists of other things.
I have a lot of problems with that. If I'm into it, And I love the part, and I say to myself, oh shit, and you feel you have to do something else now. You have to at least go have a walk and be out of it. And a lot of times I can't. It's I just walk right back to it, and before I know it, I'm an hour further. It comes a certain point that you're producing shit, and you don't hear it anymore. You know, then it's like next day you listen again. What the fuck did I make? It's a funny story about how we got the name. In my very first band, so before I met those guys, you know, I had the name Carach Angren already, and the other guys decided, no, we go for a Romanian name. So that name completely disappeared, you know. And actually, sometimes you have a thought that you think of something, and I probably haven't thought 10 years about that anymore. Yep. And this Carach Angren thing was completely gone, and I met these guys, and I was searching for a name, and I have this thing like 3 drawers, you know, and my grandmother at home like, yeah, you clean that shit, there's paper sticking out and everything, and yeah, so I had to dust it off, and I took out the lowest drawer, and there's shit underneath that one, and there I took this dusty paper, and I said, hey, and these guys were, yeah, amazing, man, let's do it, you know.
That's awesome.
That's how we got by the name, yeah.
That's great.
I remember it.
It's cool how it continues. But for everyone, it was always Carach Angren is very hard to keep in your head. But once you got it in your head, you don't lose it anymore.
There was one thing that you said about creating stuff, that you come up with something and it pulls you the way you described it, where it's like you just want to keep going because you're just like an addict.
Yeah.
And then there's the stuff where you have to like push it, and if you sit there and there's the blank page, what do you do about it?
And he always finds a way to pull through.
Yeah, but is it just like, do you just push until it works?
For me, there's always 2 different things. Like, I always feel that you have to do something. For example, like I don't believe in like just waiting for inspiration to come. Like, I try to play something every day, record something, even if it's shitty, like, or if it's 5 minutes or 2 hours. And you save it and you can come back to it. But I also like, for the last CD, I started reading like some books and Lovecraft, some small stories, and then suddenly you read something and you get triggered, and then you see something or you hear something. He has that with movies. And then you start to, and then it starts to pull, hopefully. But if it's not there, you just keep going. And it has to be a combination. Like, for me, sitting at the computer and the piano only doesn't work anymore. Like, I have to read something or learn something or go out, and then over time it starts to form.
Are you ever like uninspired in general, or just like bored by your instrument?
A lot.
Yeah, I would think so. How do you go about this? Is it then that other things in your life kind of spark it again?
Yeah. Like a friend of mine, he was doing also like YouTube videos about synthesizers, and he got a lot of analog synthesizers, and then he had the small Volca keys from Cork, and he said, yeah, it's a great one. So I bought one, and I started like making all these like crazy new sounds, and that got me hooked again to making sound. And then the sound leads to a song. And so sometimes you have to also get a new instrument, or indeed get away from it, or we when it comes to Carach, we talk a lot and discuss a lot, and let's do this, and what about that, and it sometimes can be very simple. Like, I remember, like, I was at home and watching out of the window, and I saw a guy, and he was coming by every other day or something. My wife is gonna laugh because I've told this many times. And the guy had a stick, so he was walking by with the stick. I was watching. I was so fascinated by it. What is he doing? What is this? And then
Nordic walking stick, someone.
No, just a stick.
Handicapped people.
Just a stick, like a regular, like from a tree.
Yeah, from a broom or something. And he was walking. So I was fascinated, and then I started thinking, like, what if this is like a sign for a secret cult or something? So the people that see that know that they have to do something. I was like, that's a great idea. I wrote it down, and in the end we put something like this in, but I put not a stick but a lantern because it was more inspiring. But sometimes it can be something pretty weird like that. I still don't. He disappeared. I don't know the guy where he lives, or but
you know what I like when you wrote the song for the Dead. With this guy with this with this how we call it in the eye.
Yeah, the the boogers in the eye. How do you call that?
Sometimes you have these.
The stuff that's
the dried up stuff in the eye.
Yeah, you use that in the lyric, but you saw some kind of drifter, and there was a story about him,
There was that would get it from the dead or from a dead dog or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but. And I found that such a gruesome deal to put it in, but it was from an old legend, something like that.
It stuck with me. Yeah.
And I made it so that the guy wanted was so fascinated by that he would get them out of the eyes and put them in his own.
Amazing lyric.
And nothing beats fantasy.
It's weird. Something.
Take that AI.
I also feel like sometimes there are also bands that go too deep with the story. Like 8-minute song, and then like, okay, the story is working, but the song is not so appealing. It's a very delicate balance. For example, now, like what I was telling earlier, I wrote a part lyrics, and then he comes in, and then the story starts to maybe fall apart a little bit, but then you put something there. Like we always pretty loose with it. So we make this patchwork of things, and then in the end, I like, and I think we both like to say, this song, I want to listen to this song, and it's great, and then I skip to the last song and it's also great. So, but if I want to, go in the story, I can do that too. But it's almost like this multi-dimensional. Like also people that don't care about story, they just want to have a great metal song.
The songs still have to work by themselves in like a playlist or something,
or that you don't have to have the lyrics or like. But that's the challenge always, like to have.
Absolutely.
A chorus where people can maybe sing the chorus, and at the same time it has a part in the story, but.
Always the simplicity. The best songs, the best hits, they have this. And we had this with the Frankensteiner song. I remember he did a project. What was it again? How you call it? Industrial, huh?
Some solo songs. And
so he sent me the stuff, and he was like, he's probably gonna think it's shit there because I never liked this all too futuristic type of stuff. And it was the Frankenstein album, and it began, and I was like, oh no, this, and I thought, hey, wait, Frankenstein. Industrial Revolution. It was during that time, when and all of a sudden, hey, that fits. And then I came with this title, this Frankensteiner.
That's genius.
It clicked. So now you have it. It's just saying the title again and again on that chorus part or whatever, And it's this simplicity that makes it so good one way or another. Other songs are like the Funerary Dirge of the Violinist. It's more complex, more melody, and like the one today, the Resurrection song.
But I remember it was with Monster the same. Like I remember, he was at my place and we had this song done, no lyrics. Lyrics. Like I said, just scream Monster. Yeah, why not? Monster. And what else? Like, I do it again. And then he went home, and then he came with the verse. It's not enough to be like. That was great, and and then.
Yeah, it's funny.
Sometimes it just happens like that, like just patching things in. And
like, It just happened.
It just happened.
It just happened to me. And it's funny, we always talk about the most fucked up monsters, and you always end up with the humans, with the serial killers. We are literally the sickest fucks out there. There is no fucking fiction. It is awesome.
Humans are the most. Brutality paired with intelligence is hard to beat.
Yeah, because I describe a little bit in the song people who see something that doesn't look like human, but it's like a deformed stuff. Like, oh, monster! But it can be very nice and very kind, So what is a monster? Is it the ugly thing, or is it the one that looks nice and cuts your fucking head
off? It's even worse if it's looking nice, but it's hideous under the skin.
This is what we do when we're old, right?
Yeah.
I remember that time.
I really enjoyed this conversation.
I didn't notice that it was already running.
This was the warm-up.
No sneak.
No, it was really cool,
There comes the AI question again, like, this was spontaneous. No, it was all prepared. And
was it really us?
Yeah, was it
I can only say it was really, really fun not interview.
Yeah.
Hopefully
more or less interview.
More or less like talk.
Yeah, it reminded me of our first studio part. I remember when we were sitting here with our bears, and so it's a bit now we're fucking old on my back.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
In 20 years maybe we come back and
hell yeah, when we're sitting here
with canes.
Remember
with prune juice.
Can you hand me the coke?
Also, our first podcast episode with guests.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
well,
thanks for being here and being the first guest. This is awesome.
Our pleasure. So, thanks a lot, guys. And now only thing we need to do is record some good vocals from tomorrow. And I have
subscribe and like.
What a pathetic pieces of... No.
Okay, hope you enjoyed this little after work talk, and see you next week or something.
See you in the next live.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching.
Bye.
Bye.